Buying a healthy puppy is fraught with difficulty, and it's all too easy to end up with a puppy who's unhealthy or even mentally unstable. So if you want a simple checklist for how to spot the best puppy for you, you'd better stick around. Hi, I'm veterinarian Dr. Alex from ourpetshealth.com, where my aim is to bring you the information that you need to help you optimize your pet's health so that they can live the full and happy life that they deserve. And today I'm talking with Kat the vet about how to spot a healthy puppy. So this simple mnemonic is an easy way to remember the things that you need to think about when it comes to looking for a pet online, but also in person. So let's jump into it.
And what they're trying to do is help people to understand that they've got to, be really, it's massively buyer beware when you're purchasing any animal online, be it a puppy or a kitten or a rescue dog or anything. And yes, they've come up with this really neat saying, SPOT. So S stands for seller. Do you trust them? Are they asking all the right questions? One really cool tip is take the mobile phone number, because it's always a mobile, and Google it. Google the number. And if that number is being used in multiple adverts across several platforms, often for lots of different breeds, huge red flag, walk away. Yeah. And then P is for the parent. There should always be a dog there with the puppies or kittens, but particularly for puppies. And that dog has to be interested in them. Again, the same stories come up. Well, they're 8 weeks old, so the mum's not really interested in them anymore. So even if there is an adult dog mooching around, even if you are presented with one, it probably isn't the parent.
Yes. Yeah.
And now, all these poodly oodle things that are sold, even if it doesn't even look like them, they just say, oh, well, they look like the dad, because when they're mixers, the looks can be really different. So it's a huge excuse. So, where are the parents if that dog genuinely interested in the puppies? Like you say, can they send you pictures of those puppies growing up and clearly being mothered by their mother? O is for old enough. Puppies really shouldn't leave their mum and the rest of the litter till 8 weeks, and that's mainly from a behavioural point of view, is that they learn huge amounts of doggy manners and doggy behaviour and doggy communication in that final sort of 6 to 8 week period, where they're no longer little sort of real squirts, and they're growing up into being a lot of sort of toddler puppies or older. And if they miss out on that period of socialization, again, it can impact behaviorally hugely. So that's the period when breeders do want rid. Their mum isn't feeding them anymore. They are eating, they're pooing everywhere, they're big enough to cause trouble. They are a bit of a pain in the neck by that point, especially if you've got a litter of 8 or 9. But good breeders will keep them because they will understand how important that is. Yeah. And again, every vet has been presented with a puppy or a kitten or whatever that's been, and you sort of look at this tiny little thing in your hand and you're like, well, how old is this? And they say, oh, it's 8 weeks old. The breeder said 8 weeks. Again, they've been given the right answer. They asked the question, the answer was right. Yeah. It was just a lie. And you're like, well, no, I don't. I think you'd better take some of this replacement milk and,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And then the T is for treatment. Are they vaccinated? Have they been wormed? Can you take a vaccine card that's been signed and stamped and branded to a veterinary practice? Have they got a microchip? All of those things. But like I said before, that's still not perfect, because the cost involved of doing that, as opposed to the price that you're going to pay for the puppy, it's actually to give themselves the veneer of respectability and vaccinate, worm and microchip these puppies is not expensive, in comparison to the price you're going to pay. So it's that the treatment side, the treatment is very important, but it's just this huge.
Yeah, it's another clue that you don't want to use. Yeah, you don't want to use that as the be all and end all, that they've seen a vet, so they must be they must be fine, they must be healthy.
Sometimes these puppies do pass through veterinary practice, unfortunately, without any red flags being raised, even at that stage. Yeah. So I think you really, really have to be fussy, be patient, be cynical, and be prepared for it to take a long time.
Yeah, because we as vets, if we're seeing them as a snapshot, and if they actually seem healthy for that half hour, then they're going to be, passed off as healthy, and you don't know the back history, and you don't know how they've been brought up, and you don't see the parents, and we're seeing that snapshot. So it's kind of an instant picture of seems pretty healthy, and here is your injection and microchip,
exactly,
and off you go.
And not all Exactly. And they maybe haven't even seen a vet, because not all puppies are vaccinated. You know, vaccines
No.
start at 8 weeks old.
Yeah.
And so a lot of puppies are sold unvaccinated, which is perfectly fine, because they're still going to have some protection from their mother's milk. And a lot of breeders say to, you know, people, well, if you've got a vet, you may as well start and finish that vaccine course with your vet. And actually that's a perfectly justifiable course of action, so that's okay. So they might not have a vaccine card, and that's all right. You can buy wormers online, you can now buy microchips online and chip them yourself. So it is possible, even with some degree of, you know, medical care, they haven't actually
been through a vet clinic,
you know, looked by a vet, looked at by a vet at all. So it's, there's such a lot.
It's just difficult, isn't it? It is difficult. And people, I mean, it's easy to say, oh, you know, people shouldn't be doing this, but by and large, they are going in with the best intentions, and they're being, you know, fooled. And I guess our puppy farmers and things, they are, you know, ever trying to keep one step ahead. So, you know, like you say, they wouldn't have been hiring out family homes 10 or 15 years ago, probably, or maybe I'm being naive at thinking that, but, you know, they're getting more advanced at tricking people as well, as this message is getting out. Now, if you want to learn more about some of the extreme lengths that illegal puppy breeders will go to con you out of your money and sell you an unhealthy puppy, make sure you check out the video linked on screen now. But until next time, I'm Dr. Alex. This is Our Pets Health, because they're family.